The third period of the Danbury Hat-Tricks taking on the Port Huron Prowlers. Hat-Tricks take a 3-2 lead into the third period. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara and Zach McGinnis for the start of the third period. How we got here? Well, Johnny Ruiz scored 2 goals. The first and the third. Phil Bronner scored the second. And it was Robertson and Dalton Jay who has tallied for the Port Huron Prowlers. Hat-Tricks now protecting a lead heading into the third period, trying to secure their first win of the season. Jack, what do the Hat-Tricks have to do in these final 20 minutes?
Well, I think their offensive press has been there. I think that they're taking good opportunities, missing the net a little bit too much. I think putting more pucks on net is a priority in the offensive side of the game. And defensively, they just got to get, again, tighter defensively. The second period, we saw no goals get through Nieder, but he was on his toes. He played very, very well in that second. He stopped all the shots he faced. He's been a great goaltender. You gotta surround him with great defensive play in this final period.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Jack, because it has been the defensive play that's been the weak part of the Danbury game so far. You're seeing Port here. Now what they're doing is they're collapsing down low. They're losing their assignments, and so as a player, you're just thinking, okay, where can I defend? Well, I'm going to defend the most dangerous part of the ice. It's going to be the slot. It's keeping the Port Huron Prowlers to the outside, but all the Prowlers need to do is connect on one cross-ice pass, and then it doesn't matter if you have Nick Nieder, Dominic Hasek, or whoever in net. Very difficult for a goaltender to stop that. Let's see if they can tighten things up defensively. They've surrendered 27 shots. Nieder has stopped at 25 of them. The Danbury Hat-Tricks are 20 minutes away from their first victory of the season.
And to do it in front of their home fans would certainly be a special moment, but first they've got to get through these all-important final 20 minutes as Matthias Kasich takes a hard hit from behind, and now we've got ourselves a fight. Phil Bronner drops the gloves in defense of his teammate as now we get bodies coming together. Kasich comes up asking for a penalty, and he's going to get it. That is a dangerous check behind that goal line.
Well, you know, that's the veteran Phil Bronner right there. That's exactly the kind of response that you need, where Kasich gets hit from behind. It's a dangerous hit. It's good to see him back up under his own power, but someone needs to respond. First player there didn't. Phil Bronner, he knew exactly what he had to do.
It's a veteran Danbury move. That's what they're known for, is this physical play, and when a guy gets hurt like that, he's the man they're going to call. And I was talking to Johnny Krupinski. He says, we need somebody to step up in that department. You know, when a guy goes down and, you know, somebody needs a good message to get sent, I think Phil Bronner's probably going to be that guy this season that's going to, as long as he's on the ice, he's going to send a message.
That's true at any level in professional. It doesn't matter if you're in the FPHL or the NHL. You always want that guy who's going to, it doesn't even matter if you drop the gloves. You at least want someone that you feel like, okay, if I do something, I'm going to have to answer to this guy. It doesn't even have to be in the form of fisticuffs. They can just beat you with hard, aggressive play. So Bronner is the kind of guy, he's already potted a goal. He's already dropped the gloves now, and I don't believe they're going to penalize Bronner, even though his gloves were on the ice.
You know, that's a good point, and you see the off-ice official there keeping the door open for the Danbury side. Not exactly sure why he would be doing that. You don't want to give the referees any ideas, but no, Bronner's hanging out on the Danbury bench. You're correct and accurate, where he dropped the gloves. He threw a couple punches by the rule book. He should be in the box right now, but...
And Bronner is getting a talking to from the official. Nicola Levesque was speaking with the officiating crew and then gave the little finger wag like a parent talking to their kid who did something wrong. Look at the mess you made in the kitchen, Junior. Phil Bronner goes into the penalty box, and he will, in fact, be penalized for dropping the gloves.
Well, he almost got away with it.
Well, we'll see, actually. You know, is this going to be a 5-minute major, or are the Hat-Tricks still going to be able to have a man advantage on the ice? It looks like they do. They got 5 guys out there, which is a good advantage. And, you know, as long as they'll have that.
We'll see how they sort things out, because it seems like there's a bit of a cluster going on right now. The officiating crew is speaking with Hat-Tricks head coach Billy McCreary. And it looks like, in fact, there will be Anderson skating back towards the bench, so we will have 4-on-4. I believe it will be a 2-minute penalty assessed to Port Huron, and I would be surprised if it was anything other than a 5-minute penalty assessed. Oh, they are calling a major penalty on Port Huron.
You know what? And that's that's going to be how this evens out. We'll wait for the official call, but I bet you that they get, who was that? That was Arnott. They'll get him 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. Now another penalty.
It looks like Arnott is only getting, Bronner is only getting 2 minutes, despite the fact that he dropped the glove. So I guess they're going to give him a roughing call.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't see the mitts on the ice.
And now it's going to be another penalty against Port Huron. Going to the box will be Zach Zulkanich for the third time in this game. You have to do something about that if you're the Paces behind the bench. But now, you want to talk about ice time. We talked about ice time 4-on-4. It's a 4-on-3 power play for Danbury.
Nice open ice, and Ruiz is out there. He's got Bormanis with him on the left wing, Mealy to his right, and Gonzalez completing the 4-man unit. Dalton Jay will be taking the draw for the 3-man penalty kill for the Port Huron Prowlers. It's time for a ferroelectric power play for the Danbury Hat Tricks. Bormanis on the far side circle to Gonzalez. Now passes it over to Mealy. Feeds Gonzalez. One-time shot for Bormanis. Goes wide. Gonzalez at the near side point. Here's Gonzalez at the near side point. Pitch and catch. Patiently waiting for some space to open up. Trying to get the Port Huron Prowlers out of position. Trying to keep their feet moving.
Well,
calling for the puck down low and not receiving it is Ruiz. Now a shot attempt gets blocked in front, and Port Huron will be able to clear down the length of the ice and get a much-needed change.
I think that might have been the most movement that we've seen on a Danbury power play so far.
A minute to go in Bronner's penalty, a minute 10 to go in the penalty to Zulkanich, and 4 minutes to go in the penalty to Arnott. Ruiz in the far side corner. He remains out there with Bormanis. Crystal, the new man, on to patrol the blue line. Feeds Mealy to the right side. Crystal wires it across the ice, taking a step in for Ruiz. Pass out in front. Bormanis stopped by Paulin.
Oh, how about that left pad there for Paulin? Last second heave, and he's able to just kick it aside for a huge chance in front there.
Well, Danbury was finally able to get an odd man situation. One player for Port Huron was able to cover the two up at the top.
Levesque, far side circle. Tries to get it to Kasich. It's in his heels. Keeping it in is Levesque, though. He gets it to Gavrik. 3 forwards out there with Gonzalez completing the 4-man unit. Here's Gavrik. High slot. Open look. And it's caught by Paulin out of the air, but he was down on the ice. We'll get a goaltender interference call, I believe, as Paulin, before the shot was taken, was bumped into.
Yeah, it was Matthias Kasich who nicked him right in the blue paint. He was in the blue paint, no doubt about that one. Maybe a little acting job there from Paulin. Tough to tell from this angle. Nonetheless, he falls down, and Kasich joins the party in the penalty box.
With how much pressure has been put on the netminder today on both sides, I mean, it's been a lot of contact, and this is the first goaltender interference call we've called, even though there have been several instances of heavy contact with the netminder.
We were talking about open ice before. We're going to skate 3-on-3 now for 11 seconds. And, you know, times like this, it kills me as a statistician because this is going to count as a Port Huron power play. That power play is going to be 6 seconds long. And then we'll get back to even strength hockey. It's just a real shame for the special teams.
It does a number on your percentages for sure, as Gonzalez behind his own end line has Levesque to his right. Aggressively out there on the forecheck for Port Huron is Dalton Jay. Is carrying it in as a Let's Go Hat Tricks chant comes up from the faithful. As now almost a bad turnover on the near side post, but Port Huron able to send the puck out into the neutral zone. Gonzalez turns around, gets it over to Ruiz. Back over to Gonzalez, and he charges ahead. Levesque is behind him. He drops it back. Levesque with a look to the net. Blocker aside by Paulin. Not a bad look by Levesque, but just couldn't get it by that 6x4 opening as that long shot is gloved down by Paulin, and he keeps it alive. Behind the net is Austin Federley. Maneuvers up the ice, crosses blue line, red line. He'll take it himself. Blue line and enters in on Gonzalez. Drags it to his backhand, tries to stuff the near side post, and Nieder glues his leg down to the ice. Here's Levesque. Motoring ahead, has Ruiz to his right. Trying to get around the defender, Parsons. Unable to do so. Mealy will reset over, and Billy McCreary motioning for the Hat-Tricks to get a line change, as now we have 50 seconds to go in the penalty to Kasich, 2 minutes to go in the 5-minute major to Paul Arnott.
You know what I think Coach Billy McCreary was doing there is I think he was communicating with his player in the penalty box. 50 seconds left, but when he comes out, they'll have a major power play. They have to make sure they're on the same page because they won't have the full 5 minutes.
And you're going to want Kasich out there. He's done a lot to move the puck around. I haven't seen a whole lot of goal-scoring opportunities for him, but he's done his part in moving the puck around.
One of the most capable puck handlers for sure as Mealy enters in and he gets sandwiched by a couple of Prowlers. Starting up is Vertianen. Has a little bit of room to maneuver in the neutral zone. He's being hampered from behind by Anderson. Vertianen has Robertson setting up in front of the net. Loose puck is batted away by Anderson. As the penalty to Kasich has expired, he comes back out onto the ice. Still a minute 10 to go, and the major penalty to Arnott. If the Hat Tricks score, they keep the power play. We're now 4 minutes into the third period. The Hat Tricks looking for separation as they have a 3-2 lead, but they're hungry for more. Long stretch pass for Dalton Jay goes off of the heel of his stick. Gonzalez settles. Along his own goal line, gets it to Ruiz on the right wing. East to west, he finds Bormanis. Enters into the attacking zone, has Kasich now behind him. Gonzalez at the high slot by the Colonials logo, feeds Levesque, glove save by Paulin. Hard pass in front, and Kasich settles it down. Levesque, near side circle, high slot. Gonzalez, one-time slapper, is blocked down by the body of Zulkanich. 30 seconds to go in the major.
That's a tough shot there from Gonzalez. I think he's had a great game, but he's got to generate a little bit more of a lane there. He just stood right up, and it was telestrated what he was going to do, and that was just take a straight shot.
One-handed poke by Portillo as he gets it in.
Not only does he have to do a better job of finding the shooting lane there, but when Danbury is taking the shots from that far away with no traffic in front of the net, yes, it's a shot on goal, but I'm not even sure if it counts as an offensive opportunity. A goaltender like Chris Paulin's going to stop those all game long.
It's something as the major penalty has officially expired. We're now 5 minutes and 15 seconds into the third period. It's something that Steve Valaquette always mentions in his analysis, the clear sight shots from far away. They have a very low, astronomically low percentage of finding the back of the net, and even when they generate a rebound, they're not always the most fruitful of chances as Bunnell loses the handle on the puck, and the Hat Tricks have to touch up on the blue line to avoid an offside. You always want to try and get that high danger chance. The more you can cross the center of the ice, Royal Road as it's referred to, and the closer you can get to the net, you would be amazed at the percentages, how they jump up exponentially. Bunnell has the puck in his skates, but it's taken away by Dalton Jay. Jay finds Matt Graham. Now up the ice off the stick of Jay. He simply is forwarding it into the Hat Tricks end. Niedert comes out to settle it down. Listmayer to the right wing. Now back to retrieve is Vertianen, who has had a very quietly active game. The Finnish forward for the Port Huron Prowlers looking to make an impact on opening night. He hasn't found the back of the net yet, but he certainly has been buzzing around the net as there he is generating a shot and following up on it. Into the near side corner of the Hat Trick zone. Here's Graham coming together with Howie. High slot chance now for Strack. Feeds it now. Now it's paddled. It looked like that might have gotten the knob of the stick of Nick Nieder.
That was the best chance all period for this Howlers team.
As the puck gets sent up into the 200s, how do you do? A little souvenir for the fans. Oh,
don't throw it back.
Hold on to that, kid.
It's not an opposing team's home run. You got to keep that. Those will be valuable someday.
Absolutely.
Well, not only that, but because of that active stick by Nick Nieder, the Danbury Hat Tricks just made another fan for life. Imagine being a kid, looks like he's about 8, 9 years old. You come home with a hockey puck. That's something you're never going to forget.
That is true. We have a lot of kids in the audience here today.
Up in that section, too.
Yeah. We have the Western Junior Colonials in the house tonight. One of the Pee Wee teams that call Danbury Arena home. Ruiz looking for the centering pass. It's broken up. And there are many teams that call Danbury Arena home. One of them, the Connecticut Whale, who play tomorrow at 3:30 at Danbury Arena before the Hat Tricks rematch against the Port Huron Prowlers, as the Connecticut Whale Pro Women's team will be taking on the defending champion Isabel Cup Minnesota Whitecaps. As Gavrik picks up the puck on the left wing after a scramble in front, kisses it off the glass and chases after it. He's brought down to the ice, and there will be a penalty on Stoya. That'll be a trip, and the Prowlers bench is apoplectic.
They don't like that call whatsoever, but Yeah, Stoya just puts his stick right into the legs of Gavrik. Gavrik, he's trying to fight through it. That's the reason why he goes down to the ice. And the Danbury Hat-Tricks will go on to their 4th power play of the evening. They have not been able to connect on one yet.
And the best part about these power plays, guys, yes, maybe they're not cashing in on them, but they're keeping the puck out of their own zone. And it's keeping shots away from Nieder. He has not seen that many in this period, which has been vital to the Hat-Tricks holding on to this lead.
Time is certainly the enemy of the Port Huron Prowlers as they are chasing one. It is 3-2. 7.5 minutes into the 3rd period. The penalty will be a trip to Matt Stoya as we get another Ferrer Electric power play, as now here's Mealy looking to Ruiz to his left. Ruiz has been out there seemingly every shift on this man advantage for Danbury. Now that he's proven himself as a scorer, they're trying to feed the hot hand. Graham will give chase to a long pass. Nieder motioning a glove for Mealy to come back and get the puck. Here's Kasich spinning around and looking ahead. Keeps the feet moving, now stops short. Kasich, this is his first shift back since taking that high hit along that area in the near side corner. Good to see Kasich back out on the ice healthy. Ruiz, Mealy, Levesque, Kasich, and Howie, the 5-man penalty unit for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, trying to provide a little bit of breathing room for Nick Nieder and their head coach, Billy McCreary. Mealy enters in on the right side. Saucer pass across the way. Here's Levesque fielding it and skating into a little bit of open space. Has Bormanis at the far side point. Mealy in the high slot, calling for it down low and getting it is Kasich. Here's Levesque now spinning around. It hits off of his skate blade. Bouncing puck settled down by Bormanis, calling for it right back. He's got his stick tapping on the ice. He wants it. 40 seconds to go on the power play. Hat-Tricks content just killing time, wanting to use the full 2 minutes to keep the Prowlers pinned in their own zone as that shot attempt goes off of the rear end of Howie, and a backdoor pass for Kasich goes between his wickets.
Yeah, he didn't have his head up there. He was not expecting the pass. It was beauty. He had a wide open cage. It just went whizzing by him.
And Levesque did a great job of winding up there. He sold the shot, and everybody on Port Huron believed him.
One-time shot by Bormanis goes off the end boards. Lively bounce. Paulin has to adjust, and it looks like the net comes off its mooring on the far side.
No, rather, Casey, the faceoff's going to come outside because the shot from Bormanis gets caught up on the back of the net. Nobody on Port Huron had touched it. Because of that, the faceoff will come outside. 12 seconds remain on the power play. Perhaps time for one offensive rush.
See, I just assumed at the rate that the nets came off, and it does look like that right post. Yes, all right, so I wasn't wrong. It does need to be adjusted.
I'll give you that one. The linesman will take a look at it.
Partial credit.
Well, he's a little bit further down towards that side.
There
so
you go. Zach is standing to my right, so I'm trying to figure out. I don't have the vantage point. You know, the sun was in my eyes.
Ah. You always got to look out for that sun.
It's a devil out there. That late October sun. We want to remind fans that you can subscribe to the Danbury Hat-Tricks YouTube channel and keep up to date on all of the Hat-Tricks live game streams. We want to thank everyone tuning in today, whether you're in Danbury, Port Huron, or anywhere across the country. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. for the rematch. Danbury Hat-Tricks against Port Huron Prowlers, Game 2 of the regular season. As the puck gets immediately sent into Paulin, and the importance of that dump in there from the neutral zone, now with 5 seconds left on the power play, it gives you one last face-off in that offensive zone with the man advantage. You have time to set something up.
It also means, however, that the Danbury defensemen, they need to be aware of what's going on. If Port Huron wins this power play, a chip off the glass, you could easily give up a breakaway.
Crystal kicks it to himself at the far side point. Leaping up to avoid the puck is Anderson. Now Gavrik goes to work behind the net. Here's Vladislav Gavrik. Has the puck taken away from him and cleared out. A great defensive play there by Virtianen. And it will go down the ice for an icing as Virtianen didn't get the memo that his penalty kill was expired. And he will be forced to stay on the ice as the Hat-Tricks get another key opportunity here with a tired unit out there.
Well, you'll see Danbury putting out their grind line now, trying to get something going. And you notice what Danbury does here. Danbury's going to try and change the location of the face-off. Not sure if they're going to get it, though. They didn't elect it in time. One of the rule changes this year off of icings.
Puck tied up now at the far side midboards, down to his knees and trying to field the puck is Newberg. Newberg tied up with a man That's number 19, Austin Federley. As the puck squibs now back out into the neutral zone all the way down the length of the ice, and Niedert, going for a little bit of a stroll, fields the puck, and Gonzalez has to spin away from Portillo. We've officially reached the halfway point of the third period of Danbury Hat-Tricks hockey. 3-2 is your score in favor of the Hat-Tricks, searching for their first win in franchise history. Bunnell has to dump the puck in, and they'll go off for a change. Port Huron trying to get something going. They haven't been able to have too much pressure in this period because of the penalty trouble and because of the terrific shifts here from the Hat-Tricks as they get another one. High slot chance, bouncing around in front. Kick saved by Paulin, and now a springy rebound goes all the way down. It looked like a clearing attempt almost turned into an inadvertent stretch pass for a breakaway.
Yeah, it nearly was a 2-on-1 there. And that's what you're starting to see Port Huron do. They're starting to stretch out the defense in the neutral zone as they want to get their scorers on the puck.
Robertson looking to the centering pass, and it was broken up. A great play by the back-checking Freeman.
To give you an example, off to the left of your screen, now dead center, Dalton J. As that puck was back in the Port Huron zone, he was up by the Danbury blue line.
Under 9 minutes to go in the period. Whacking it off the wall and sending it out into the neutral zone. And Jack, we're seeing shorter shifts now from the Danbury Hat-Tricks. They're going off for changes more frequently, as now Jay with a yawning net mouth, diving effort by Gonzalez! Gonzalez just saved the day!
Oh my goodness, he has been all over this ice today. Offensively, defensively, makes the play of the day here. It's not a goal, it's not shiny, but it does its job.
And
what a play.
A chance back down the length of the ice goes off the mask of Paulin. What a terrific play by Kyle Gonzalez, the 25-year-old. And a roar of approval from the Hat-Tricks faithful, and boy, oh boy, the best chance of the day for the Prowlers doesn't result in a goal. And now it's time as we head into a media timeout for an Around the League scoreboard update. Here's Zach McGinnis.
Thanks, Casey. Up in Watertown, it's gone final. The Watertown Wolves, a 4-1 victory over over Elmira. Meanwhile, the Danbury Hat-Tricks, as mentioned, were up 3-2. The Carolina Thunderbirds up 1-0 in their game. The Columbus River Dragons visiting Delaware. They're up 4-1 right now.
Battle of the newbies.
Indeed, and the Delaware Thunder, that's a team that's really going to focus on their local community support. They have an arena that holds about 1,000 people or so. They really need to fill those seats.
They sold out their opener.
Indeed they did. That's the kind of support that they need. Meanwhile, out in Ohio, Mentor is up 2-1 in their game. And just about to begin the third period, the Danville Dashers 4-0 right now over the Battle Creek Rumblebees.
Love it. That was your out-of-town scoreboard update. Thanks to Zach McGinnis. And Jack, we're heading into the home stretch for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Who do you see as an impact player for the Hat-Tricks in these final 8 minutes? Who are you relying on if you're Coach McCreary?
I think, a couple of guys defensively. Gonzalez, who's out there on the ice once again, he's had some really, really big minutes for this team. I think after that effort, you're going to give him as much ice time as you can. And there's a shot.
There's Gonzalez firing it right into the crest at the center of the sweater for Chris Paulin. And Gonzalez has been active on both ends of the ice. He just saved a goal. He's hunting for one of his own in the offensive zone. He's certainly going to be one of those guys you look for.
They've had a really good defensive period. I think this has been their most solid period from their blue line back, and that's something to say. It really took the adjustments that McCreary made. They finally found a way to settle in, and it's the goaltender here who gets run into. Look out.
Oh, boy. As that was Hatham Owed who collided with Niedert. Owed was motoring, trying to get to the puck before Niedert covered it. Niedert had it well in hand. Owed.
I'm a little surprised that you don't see a penalty result there. I mean, you saw the goalie interference penalty against Danbury a few minutes ago. Certainly less contact there than you see here. But at the same time, as everybody piled on top, you saw Nick Niedert talking to the guys at the bottom saying, hey, calm down, everything's okay. Another veteran move by the goaltender.
And I was just about to say, he hasn't seen much of that physical play in front of him in this period because of the defensive actions of this team. Unfortunately there, he catches a bad break. Luckily, puck does not cross the goal line.
And Jack, to your point about how well Danbury's been playing defensively, they surrendered 27 shots through 2 periods of play with under 8 minutes to go here. Port Huron only has 3 shots on goal this period.
There's another chance from Kasich that gets through the wickets of Paulin but can't find the opening. Kasich has the puck underneath him now. As he's down on the ice, he's hurting. Kasich clearly laboring out there after taking several shots to the upper body, and now a stretch pass. Here's Jay, and it's poked away. Oh, and they score! It sneaks through Niedert. Niedert went for the poke check, and he whiffed.
Oh, you see it all the time in football. Guys who trying to run their route, trying to catch the ball, and they run after they catch it. The process is not made. Niedert's ready to just stick that away, and it's already in the back of the net. He's looking one way, the puck's the other. Oh, my goodness, that's so tough.
And, you know, there's familiarity. That was Dalton Jay who will get credit for the goal for Port Huron. There's familiarity between Jay and Niedert. Jay was looking to pull it to his forehand. He reached forward with the backhand. Niedert anticipated that. And just like running without the ball, well, the puck just continued going forward. That's the second goal that Nick Niedert really, tough ones. Between that, the one that Listmayer punched past him, and now we have ourselves a tie game.
7:15 to go in the third period, and we've got ourselves a tie hockey game. It's 3-3 at Danbury Arena thanks to Dalton Jay's second of the game. Back the other way, here comes Danbury. Josh Newberg enters into the zone as the puck ricochets out of play with 7 minutes flat to go.
And I think now for Danbury, the thing that you have to say is, all right, we've just kind of been a little lackadaisical, a little bit more relaxed on offense. You got to kick it up a notch here because you need a goal here. You don't want to go into extra time and try to get a goal. Try to light this crowd up, get back to that 1-goal lead.
Absolutely. You don't want to give a division rival any leeway. Every point matters in a season like the FPHL, especially with the expanded league. You want to make sure that you're in the highest seed possible for home ice advantage for these series in the playoffs. And the playoffs are very much so the end game for Danbury.
And, you know, you talk about advantages in the standings. Keep in mind that the FPHL runs a 3-2-1 point system. Yeah. So Danbury, even if they end up winning this game and let's say it takes place after regulation time, that's still a point that they've left on the table.
Absolutely. So both teams know what's at hand as motoring up the ice now on the right side is Federley. Crossing the way intended for Arnott, can't field it cleanly. 6:20 to go in the period. 3-3 is your score. Here's Brennan. Looking up ice, one-touch pass by Howie. Gavrik gassed. Loops off for a change.
Well, lucky that it wasn't icing against Danbury.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was watching it like he thought it was going to be an icing.
And very little effort shown there.
Niedert comes out behind his net, and it's Niedert's likelihood of playing the puck that might have cost him on that third period. He is very aggressive coming out of his net. He isn't the tallest goalie in the world, so he makes up for that by trying to cut off the angles. And he got caught a little bit too far out of his net trying to get up that poke check.
And keep in mind the first goal where Niedert was the one who tried to clear the zone.
Absolutely. Here's Jay again with Robertson. Saucer pass. Robertson one-hand fields it, has it chopped away from him by Mealy. Up the ice with speed. Here's Bormanis. Bormanis trying to get around a defender. Stops short at the far side circle, leaves it for Levesque. Levesque too hard. Pinching in is Listmayer. Listmayer hasn't seen a ton of ice time in this period. This is one of his first few shifts. Up the left side, here's Vertianen. Looking to the net, it goes off a defensive stick, and Niedert is able to recover. Oh boy, almost a sneaky shot. Hit off a defensive stick, and Niedert holds his breath.
Yeah, it's such a difficult save because you got it one way, you're tracking it, no problem. All of a sudden, it redirects the exact opposite way you're going. Last-ditch effort there. Niedert, I mean, he's making all the hard saves look easy.
He really is, because that puck certainly changed directions on him. It went against his momentum after he had already committed to making the save, and he's able to extend the right leg there to keep it out and keep this a tie game.
Considering it went off of a hat trick stick, the hat tricks are doing more for the Prowlers offense than the Prowlers. Considering the second goal of the game went off of Listmayer's glove, and that puck, I believe, hit off of the ceiling.
It's quite possible. You know, you've got a higher ceiling here than certainly other arenas in the FPHL. Call it about 40, 50 feet or so from ice level up to the top. It's not high enough where you have a center-hung scoreboard, although you certainly have the speakers around here, and players during certain practices I know have used those speakers as target practice, but that's neither here nor there right now.
Don't name names. Snitches get stitches. Puck gets pushed in shuffleboard style into the Prowlers zone, but they enter in offsides, and we'll do it from the neutral zone. With 4:44 to go, we have ourselves a tie hockey game, and the shots, they were so far separated after the second period. The hat tricks have almost pulled even. It's 33-30 in favor of the Prowlers, and they've really made up a ton of ground in this period, Jack.
They have. I mean, they've had great possession time. A couple of power plays there. They kind of shoot themselves in the foot a little bit by taking penalties when you're on the power play. That's tough to see. And again, limiting the shots in the other end. Unfortunately, one gets by Nieder that probably shouldn't have happened. And you have yourself at a tie hockey game, a couple of weird ones against the hat tricks. You got to find a way to push through that adversity.
That's true. For such a dominant period, it is the Prowlers who have won the frame so far, 1-0. Here comes Danbury looking up ice. The black and orange brigade led by Gavrik crossing the blue line, cuts to his right, and is able to one-hand it. Great play by Gavrik to get it in deep. Brought down to his knees with no call is Bonnell. He's able to get back up, and he's got his hands tied up, and now he's in a chokehold, and he's brought down to the ice, and that will be a penalty.
Yeah, you can't do that. You cannot do that.
That is a wrestling move.
I'm fairly certain they call that a bulldog down to the ice, as he just wrapped the Port Huron player just wrapped his arms around the neck of Bottle and brought him down to the ice. I mean, that was rude.
So with 3:58 to go, the Hat Tricks will get a power play opportunity. And it's an all-important one to try and get a regulation win. They will have one last look. And guys, if you're the power play coach right now, what do you want to see from this unit?
All right, you got to move the puck around the outside. I want from left side all the way back to the right. You got to find a way to swing it around as much as you can. That's what moves the defenders around. It gets lanes open. And then you got some big guys on the ice. Gavrik, Bronner, look at them down low in front of the net to create traffic down there.
You're absolutely right, Jack, because right now, the Danbury power play, they're 0 for 4 so far. They've kept it all along the sidewall. Get the defensemen more involved. Get the penalty killers moving to open up lanes.
As our scoreboard just went blank in the Danbury arena, so we'll have to reset play as players are frustrated.
Players not too happy with it. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, as, well, the entire thing went down, and I'm seeing the rink crew rush on over to fix this as, hey, there it is.
Yay! Brief power outage, but we're back. And a sarcastic roar of approval from the Danbury faithful. So we'll do it again with 3:55 to go. 3 seconds will have elapsed in the power play. And every second is crucial, and the Hat Tricks will keep out their top unit of Bormanis, Bronner, and Gavrik with Anderson and Mealy.
The official's probably going to have a conversation here, guys, just to make sure that the timing is right on both the game clock and the penalty clock.
You know, that's a good point, Jack, because while 3 seconds has elapsed off the power play, I know in my older age things seem to slow down a bit. I thought it was perhaps more than 3 seconds.
Well, you never know. You don't know when they hit start, and now they finally start the clock. So, not to give a hard time to the boys in the box, as now on the far side, the Hat Tricks go to work. Here's Bronner fighting for the puck, is able to win it back to Gavrik. Maneuvers his way over into the near side corner, feeds Mealy, crosses the ice now to Barmanis. Mealy is in the high slot. They instead loop it down to Anderson. Bronner in the near side corner. Mealy pinching in. They find him. Gavrik setting up in the bumper position between the hash marks. Bronner gets it down low to Anderson. Sharp angle try. Blocker save by Paulin.
I like that shot. It's not a great high percentage shot, but it just puts the puck in a dangerous position.
Sometimes you're able to roof it over that blocker if you catch the goalie down low. There's the shot. They score! Right on cue! It's Anderson! Corey Anderson gives the Hat Tricks the lead. It's 4-3.
Jack, you talked about how it wasn't a high percentage. It isn't. But when it hits, boy, does it look pretty. right over the blocker of Chris Poland. Finally, Danbury hits the power play goal, and with 3:12 remaining here in regulation time, the Hat-Tricks are back on top 4-3.
That's such an uplifting goal for Anderson, his first of the season. He finds that little crease, you said it, right over that blocker side, and how was that created? Moving it from one side of the ice to the next. There was nobody in the vicinity of Anderson. He had all the time in the world, and he fires a beauty.
You know what's the picture-perfect example of that kind of play is Martin St. Louis game winner on Dustin Tokarski back in the 2014 Stanley Cup playoffs. He gets it in that near side circle and catches the goaltender going down to his knees too quickly. And that's exactly what Anderson did. That left-handed shot gets the Hat-Tricks a 4-3 lead. But they still have 3 minutes to go. Here's Levesque in the slot, trying to get one more. Sends it towards the net, bouncing around on the goal line, trying to stuff it in at the near side is Kasich, but Poland is able to fall on it.
Oh, that's crazy. That's a good idea, though, for the Hat-Tricks as they get guys right inside the blue paint. Just try to stuff it in. Doesn't have to be pretty, but again, more pressure in and on the goaltender.
And, you know, Levesque, that shot was right along the ice. It managed to find its way through the forest of legs and sticks in front of Poulin. And then Poulin, he didn't see it. It went off the inside of his skate. He then falls backwards. Levesque is saying that it's in, it's in. His teammates are digging for it. Danbury that close to a 2-goal lead.
2:44 to go in the final frame with the Hat-Tricks leading 4-3. They will get an all-important offensive zone chance, and they're trying to catch the Prowlers on their heels. It will be Ruiz out there with Gavrik to his right, who has played a lot of minutes in this period. To his left will be number 17, Adam Howie. Howie with the backhand try just goes wide. Paulin's out of his net. He has to recover. And it hit off the glass, and it looks like we will get a stoppage in play.
Yeah, puck once again on the back of the net, so once again the puck will come out into the neutral zone. You see Adam Howie, though, he's on this line with Ruiz and Gavrik, giving them a little more speed, a little more snarl out there as well.
So Ruiz will take the face-off against Matt Graham. The danger line out for the Port Huron Prowlers, trying to bring the game back to even. Jay plays it back to his defender, Alex Strack. Gonzalez is able to pitch it back in. The Hat-Tricks at this point content to play keep away. 2.5 minutes to go in the period. 4-3 is your score in favor of the Hat-Tricks. Back to retrieve is Listmayer. He'll whiffle it now out to the high slot. Turnaround shot redirected, they score! A turnaround shot by Matt Stoya finds the back of the net. And the Prowlers bring it back to even.
I might be wrong on this, guys, but that might have gone off of Listmayer. I think it did. Another one. Tough day for number 4 in black and orange. Another deflection that goes off of him. That one's a little bit less his fault. I mean, you're trying to block some shots. Just takes that deflection and another tough goal on Nieder. Oh, my goodness.
It's a weak shot from that high slot. I thought it might have gone off a high stick from the way it redirected. It went straight down into the ice underneath Nieder's pad, Zach.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Listmayer or perhaps Ruiz in front, because Ruiz was certainly not happy with that. Again, Nick Nieder, nothing he can do there, as he's expecting a shot that's going to be high, if not over the net, and suddenly it goes 5-hole on you. Nothing he can do.
Well, the back and forth helter-skelter action continues. It's a give and take in hockey, and we're back to even. It's 4-4 as we hit the 2-minute warning. The Danbury Hat-Tricks have led 3 different times in the game, and they have surrendered all 3 leads. Gloved down by Vertianen. Pass to nobody out in the neutral zone, and it will be Crystal settling it down. Crystal crosses the way to Mealy. Mealy has time and space, is pressured now by the forechecking Owed. Now here's Mealy, chasing after the puck once more on the right side. Mealy with a shot just goes wide. Anderson with a turnaround whack at a bouncing puck. And it went off of the heel of his stick. Now here's Port Huron in transition. Here's Owed, banking it in off the end boards. 1:10 to go in the final frame. If we do not have an answer on either side, we will have overtime. And how else would you want to start the season than with a little exciting back and forth last minute hockey? Turnaround shot goes off of the legs of Mealy. Out into the neutral zone it goes, and giving chase is Bormanis. He's out there with a tired Vertianen, and he beats him down. Vertianen down to one knee, great block, and steals the puck away. What a play by Vertianen.
That's a great shift for him, because you know there's a burst of speed right there on the outside for Bormanis. You want to shut him down. He did, and he got to the bench.
Bormanis trying to wire it down low to Anderson. Couldn't connect. 30 seconds to go in the period. Flopping it into the near side. It's 20 seconds to go. Pitchforked up. Keeping it in at the far side is Portillo. Great play. Bouncing around. A lot of players chasing after it, but unable to retain possession. Here's Crystal doing battle on the near side corner. Grigorich has it. Grigorich trying to find Federley. It's past him and out into the neutral zone. 5 seconds to go. And in the first game of Danbury Hat Tricks history, we have overtime. And how else would you want to start your year?
Why not? Why not, right?
The fans who have come out to the Danbury Arena tonight certainly getting their money's worth. A good portion of them have hung out here until the end. They'll get to see 3-on-3 overtime at 5 minutes. Casey, before you'd mentioned that Danbury's had 3 leads, 3 times they've surrendered it. They've never been able to pull away. It's always been a 1-goal lead the entire time, and, well, every time it just simply hasn't worked out for them.
The benefit here is if they get a 1-goal lead, well, guess what? It's over. It's a golden goal scenario. But you're right, Zach, in that they've had the opportunity. And leading up to that final 4th goal there for Port Huron, I almost thought in my head the best way for Danbury to defend right now is to be the offensive team. And they were doing that throughout the start of the 3rd period. And then it kind of slipped away. They let in that 3rd goal. They got a goal back, and then they just collapsed on defense once again. I think the message from Billy McCreary after today's all said and done, regardless of the result, is we got to find a way to hang on to leads because they surrendered all 3 of them.
Well, that's exactly it. It's the defensive battle, and it's trying to prevent contact with the puck in front of your netminder. How many times, whether they've been goals or not, how many times have the Prowlers been able to get contact with the puck when they're between those hash marks in close on Nieder? It's clearing out the crease at the Hat Tricks, and it's something that perhaps they miss Steve Brown on because Brown is that big physical presence that can shovel guys out of the way.
That's exactly the person who I had in mind as you were saying that, because that's something that Danbury's missing right now. They've been physical somewhat, but the physicality has mostly been on the forecheck. You haven't seen much of it defensively. Certainly you haven't seen anybody clearing out bodies from in front of a net. Somebody like Steve Brown will be the perfect kind of player for that, because as a defenseman, especially as an old school hard-nosed defenseman, anybody in front of his team's goalie is in trouble. That's what Danbury needs to work on, but they'll go into overtime now, and you take a look at the skaters who they have out there. They've got Ruiz, they've got Bronner, they've got Gonzalez on the back, all 3 very capable goal scorers. They're looking to end this early.
And guys with wheels, too.
Yeah, Gonzalez, who's had a great game, playmaker. Obviously, Johnny Ruiz, the 2 goals he's had today. I talked to him before the second intermission. He said, I love playing in front of this Danbury crowd. Just great to be out there. And he said to me, we got to find a way to stop guys from getting inside the blue crease and protect our goaltender a little bit more.
And for those of you listening at home, the interviews that Jack is conducting throughout the intermissions will be posted up to the YouTube channel. Be sure to check them out. Some really good questions from Jack, really good answers from his teams.
Of course. So the Hat Tricks will be sending out Ruiz, Bronner, and Gonzalez. Countering will be the dangerous 3-forward unit in Graham, Robertson, and Vertianen. All guys who have been so active on the puck today. Puck is dropped and away we go. It's time for overtime. Gonzalez in the near side corner of his own end. It's 3-on-3. We've only seen 3-on-3 for 10 seconds here in this game. Here's Ruiz. Ruiz chopping it to himself. Slap shot goes wide. Here's Bronner doing work now in the far side corner. He's got 2 men on him. Ruiz smartly keeping back. He doesn't want to overcommit and give these dangerous Prowlers forwards too much room. Here's Vartianen looking to the net in front. Kicked in and they score! I believe it went off of the skates of Matt Graham. And that will do it. Just 30 seconds into overtime, the Prowlers spoil the home opener for the Hat Tricks.
Well, that's what happens when you're unable to close games out. Teams get back into games. In Port Huron, they're a rough team that knows how to fight and compete, and they've done well here to steal this game for the Hat Tricks on opening night.
Well, that goal comes because Phil Bronner's unable to maintain possession down in the Port Huron zone. It's a 2-on-1 coming the other way. Johnny Ruiz was caught out of position. Gonzalez, he does the best job he can trying to cut down the passing lane. He doesn't allow Nick Nieder to line up with the shooter. Rather, he kind of stays in the middle there. Gonzalez goes down. Good job by the two forwards, the communication there to get around that sprawling body, and it results in Port Huron skating away with a victory.
I tell you what, the Danbury Hat Tricks, they're all hunched over, they're frustrated. They give their salute at center ice, and what you saw from the Hat Tricks faithful was a standing ovation and a roar of approval. They understand that, A, they earned a well-deserved point tonight, but at the very least, they're applauding the fact that hockey is back in the city. And that's so important. Win, lose, or draw. From this point on, Danbury has a hockey team, and that's what's most important.
It is. It really is. You talk to these people, these great fans that come here. Doesn't matter who's in this building. They're here. They're just so excited to watch this great game on their ice once again. And, you know, for the Hat Trick's sake, you go into that locker room frustrated, but you have, you know, less than 24 hours to say, let's fix that. Let's send a message. Let's reset. Let's recoup. And we can say, let's go ahead against this same team tomorrow night here at this arena.
And they'll be hungry to get back into it. They had the lead. They had 3 separate leads. They couldn't hold on to it. They have a game stolen away from them in overtime. Credit to the Port Huron Prowlers. They always stayed in the game. They skate away with the 2 points with the victory. But, Jack, to your point, yeah, the Danbury skaters, they're going to have a meal tonight, they're going to go to sleep, and they're going to come ready to work tomorrow. And the nice thing is they're going to have over 1,000 fans here at the Danbury Arena ready to cheer them on.
And we'll be right here to provide coverage for tomorrow night's game as the Danbury Hat Tricks take on the Port Huron Prowlers. Puck drop is scheduled for 7 p.m. You can tune in on the Danbury Hat Tricks YouTube channel. It'll be immediately following the Connecticut Whale game at 3:30. You can watch that game on twitch.tv as they take on the defending Isabel Cup champions, Minnesota Whitecaps. That also taking place on Danbury ice. For Zach McGinnis and Jack O'Mara, I'm Casey Bryant. We want to spend a special thank you to Dylan DeSalvo, our cameraman. Applauds to Dylan for doing a great job on camera tonight. We'll be back at it tomorrow from Danbury Arena. I'm Casey Bryant. Have a good night.